Wow. Well, welcome everyone to
Everybody.
our very special Zoom today with our founder and owner, Darren Zobrist. And I want to tell you a little story before we get started because when I went to PXP to take a look at PartnerCo, it was a year ago in October. So it was September 2024. Um, the one of the first things I saw is Darren and John going down the aisle on those what are those little like motorized skateboard type things? I
Yes,
can't
they
remember
call the
what they're
one
called.
wheel, one wheel. Yeah,
But I just
one wheel.
remember thinking that is so cool that they would do that. Come down the aisle like that and then they got up and it really hit me that how much of a heart that Darren has and that John has. And it immediately, I got the chills listening to Darren speak and sharing his vision for the company and how it all happened and why we're all here. And I was so moved by what he shared. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I have, jumped into PartnerCo is seeing that the owners, John and Darren, they actually really care. They're in this with us. And when they say, Partner Co, the name Partner Co, it really, I'm experiencing it that it is a true partnership. Um, helping each other from corporate to our owners to the leaders in the field. There's such an incredible collaboration that is really unique and special. And so I just want to bring up Darren today because I recently there was a recognition Zoom for me going chairperson, and this is what happens as you promote up in the levels. You get a special recognition Zoom with the owners and the corporate, and it was a 10-minute Zoom, and they were just congratulating me. It was so cool and so much fun, and they said, "Wow, Stacy, your team is doing so well. We'd love to do a Zoom for your team. There's so many exciting things happening, so many promotions, and just some incredible leaders emerging on my team, my downline. And so I just want to welcome Darren here today to share a little bit. I asked him if he could tell us a little bit more about how PartnerCo came to be and also some of his vision for the future of PartnerCo. So, Darren, thank you for joining us today. I'm so honored and grateful you're here.
Yes, no, thank you for inviting me. I love to meet with everybody and talk a little bit more about PartnerCo. And especially, we had a really fun recognition call, and congratulations again on achieving chairperson. Something I'm not sure if all of you know this either, but Stacy is our worldwide power ranking number 4 right now. Amazing. You have an
Thank
incredible
you.
leader in Stacy. I know she's sitting there going, "Come on, Darren, it's about the team. Don't be putting all this on me. I know how she is, but it's true. She's an incredible leader, and I feel very honored to work with her, and I'm sure that you feel honored to have her part of your team."
Darren, can I say one more thing before you
Yeah,
start? Thank
sure.
you for those kind words. And I wanted to finish by telling everybody that I got to actually have a real conversation with John and Darren several months after PXP. I was in Utah. I flew to Utah to meet Darren and John and the corporate. It was a small group of people, and what stood out to me was I was having just a normal conversation with Darren and how genuine and real and just humble he was and so smart. And his wife was there, Kristen, and I could feel that they actually cared about me and about all of us in the room. And it just so stood out to me because you don't see that people that are really that vested and care that much. And so I just wanted to finish with that, Darren, before you went in.
The other thing, I mean, John and I, we're just normal people. We really are. Yes, we run PartnerCo. We started PartnerCo, but we're normal people. We love our families. We like to work hard and be part of this amazing work. But this morning, when I talked to Stacy getting ready for this call, you know what I was doing? I was getting my son ready for school. I'm on the morning school duty. So just like many of you, we have normal things that we do day in and day out. And I'm just like all of you. We have the same, many of the same wishes and desires. The only difference is that we have a little bit different responsibilities in achieving the mission of PartnerCo. I have certain responsibilities to make sure that you have all the resources and the tools and the products and everything that you need, and you are in charge of going out there and building your teams and bringing in new brand partners and customers and helping them change their lives. So we're really the same. We just have different responsibilities, right? So I think, first of all, I know some of you have been here for a while, so thank you so much to those who have been with us for a while and been to some of our events or PXP or the Connect events. Um, it's really an honor to have you have been our partners for a while. And I know there's some new people on the call too. So welcome to PartnerCo, those of you who are new. And
Darren, you're muted somehow. Yeah.
somebody muted me. It wasn't me. But thank you for seeing the mission of PartnerCo, powering health and prosperity around the world, and wanting to be part of that and throwing your hat in with us and working to really achieve that mission together as partners. So welcome to PartnerCo, those of you who are new. To really understand PartnerCo and how PartnerCo was launched and why PartnerCo was launched, we have to go back a ways. I have to go back a ways because foundational values in my life really happened, 20, 30 years before that. And during that time, I was, I really was living what I thought was my dream life. I had graduated from the top master's in business program in the United States called Wharton at the University of Pennsylvania. And I was working for a Wall Street firm, kind of that everyone envied the job that I got. It was a really great position. And initially, I loved it. I felt success. I was making money for the firm. As I was making money for the firm, then my paycheck starts to grow and grow and grow. During that time, I had twin daughters. They were born during the initial stages of when I had started on Wall Street. And what started to happen was really interesting. The more success that I had, I started to feel this change in me, and I sort of became less enthusiastic about what I was doing on Wall Street. And initially, it was just kind of quiet, small little things that were changing. I got up and went to work before sunrise, and I often came home after my girls were already in bed. And that was difficult. Hours were relentless. There was tons of pressure to earn and make money for the firm and earn and make money for our clients. And those pressures were very real. But on the other side, I was achieving a lot of success financially. So, on one hand, I was really living what I thought was my dream and what the world would look at me and say, you have achieved success. But at the same time, I'm starting to feel kind of an emptiness creeping in. It got to the point where every morning as I'm driving into the office, I felt something growing heavier and heavier. And it really got to the point where every morning I had this pit in my stomach and I felt stuck. in this job because I had a family to support. I had responsibilities. I had achieved this lifestyle. I was living my dream. And it's hard to face that when you think that maybe your dream isn't all that you thought it was supposed to be. And I really every day going into that office, I felt like a little bit of me was dying, a little bit each day. And at some point, I just had to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Like I just reached that point. Like I'm either going to have to stay here and just suck it up and deal with the feelings that I'm feeling, or maybe even do something different. But it's a scary thought when you're at that point in your career. During this time, I took a trip to Mexico to really clear my mind. It was a fishing trip, clear my mind and figure out what I was going to do. And on that trip, I think some of you have heard this story before, but on that trip where I got off of the fishing boat, there was a fish market. And in this small little fish market, in this fish market, though, they were selling yellowfin tuna, which is the tuna that we use for sushi. They were selling that for like 50 cents a pound. And at the time I was living in LA, and I'm like, wow, I pay like 20 bucks a pound for that fish. What is going on here? And I start talking to the fishermen, and they're like, well, we just sell it here locally. We don't have any access to export it. And they also didn't really know how to treat the fish so that it could be used for uh, sushi. And I remember thinking, this could be it. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'm supposed to help these fishermen here get access to markets in Los Angeles or elsewhere where they can sell their fish for a lot more money. And when I came back home, the more I thought about it, the more I felt inspired to really help these fishermen with, getting a market for their fish. And there was a lot of logistics to get set up. We brought in these Japanese technicians and flew them down to Mexico to teach the fishermen how to properly kill the fish and bleed it so it could be used for sushi. Um, we rented a small processing plant, and initially, one only one fisherman agreed to work with us. And of course, I put a bunch of money in already, just kind of getting the logistics set up and a lot of time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we can only get one of these fishermen to fish for us. But we started anyway. And this fisherman, we were able to pay him about $2.50 a pound for his fish. So that's 5 times what he had been selling his fish for before. And in this fishing village in Mexico, the fishermen are very poor. Actually, in pretty much in all developing countries around the world, the fishermen are very poor, very humble circumstances. And it was no different with him. And at the end of his first month, this fisherman went out and he bought a pickup truck, which doesn't seem like a lot to us. But in this little town in Mexico, that was like major success, major, major success. He had made it. And of course, all of his friends start asking him, what are you doing? Some of them were even like, hey, are you selling drugs? Are you running drugs in your boat? It was the conversations he had were really interesting. He's like, no, I'm working with these guys. They're shipping my fish to the US. You should come join. And so he introduced us to all of his friends, who introduced us to their friends and their friends. And within about 3 months, we had the entire fleet in the region fishing for us. There were about 1,000 fishermen. And every one of
Wow.
those fishermen began earning 5 times what they were earning before. And when you take a community and everyone in that community starts earning 5 times what they were earning for, it lifts the whole community. all of the fishermen, they're renting better apartments or nicer houses, they're better clothes, they're sending their children to better schools. Everything changed for them. And I would go down on the weekends. I'm still working on Wall Street at this point, but I would go down on the weekends and talk to the fishermen, see how things were going. And this one time they threw like they call it a churrasco, but like a Mexican barbecue for me, just to, as a celebration, as a thank you. All the fishermen pitched in and they were throwing this big barbecue for me. And I remember so clearly the moment when this fisherman came up and he's presenting me to his wife and his two children. He's got a child in his arms, and his wife's got uh, holding on the hand of another one. And he starts thanking me for everything that we're doing. And then his wife, she just breaks down in tears. And she's talking about how her life has changed in the last few months and that she's living a life that she never even dreamed that she could live in this little town married to a fisherman. And then I start bawling, talking to her about how her life has changed, and I start to get emotional. And I remember, I remember as they walked away, I said to myself, I want to do this. I want to do this every day for the rest of my life. And really, that's what I did. That was the moment I decided to leave Wall Street, focus full time on the seafood company. We took what we had done in Mexico, we expanded to other communities around Mexico. Then we expanded to Brazil. Same thing in these fishing communities, helping the fishermen earn more money, gain access to the international markets. We then expanded to Indonesia, Ecuador, Costa Rica, Thailand, Malaysia, Cook Islands, Marshall Islands. We were in 13 different countries all around the world. And in every one of those fishing communities, the lives of the fishermen were dramatically improved because of the work that we did. And really starting in Mexico with that first fishing village, it changed me because I saw what I was missing when I was working on Wall Street. It is possible to have financial success, but it also is possible at the same time to be helping people improve their lives. And that changed me. And I've been really focused on being able to do that ever since then. So eventually, my company, my seafood company, was acquired by Bumblebee, the canned tuna company. They wanted to get into sushi quality tuna, and they ended up acquiring my company, and I worked for them for a few years. And then I really retired and moved to Puerto Rico, basically. Basically. I call it retirement. My wife says, "You were never retired." I was still had invested in a bunch of other companies, but she's like, "You were never retired." But I think I was retired because I wasn't working like 100 hours a week. So anyway, we're in Puerto Rico and we're just down here before we moved, and we were checking out Puerto Rico as an option. And I go to church to check out. There's an English speaking congregation. I go to the church, and the first person that I meet at church is my now partner, John Wadsworth. And he says, "Hey, if you're thinking about coming to Puerto Rico, come over for lunch. We'll show you around my neighborhood and I can answer any questions." And that's what happens. Of course, I end up living in the same neighborhood. We become fast friends. Initially, our families are friends. We're going on vacation together. We're doing lots of service and pastor work in our church community together. And we develop a very close relationship. Our families, really, our families, we're like one big family. And John became my best friend. He was the largest distributor for Tahitian noni juice, and he had been for 27 years, I think, at that point, 26, 27 years at that point. And one day he calls me with the opportunity to acquire the company that had acquired Tahitian Noni and several other network marketing companies. And they had amazing products, an incredible collection of products that had been assembled. And we had the opportunity to buy this company. And after we talked about it, I said, I'm in, but I'm just going to fund this. I'll fund the acquisition, but I just want to be, behind the scenes, a passive investor. But, he's my best friend, and it seems really incredible to be able to do this thing together. And so I'm in. And he says, well, we've got this event in Barcelona that I think you should come to. You need to see really what it's all about. And so, of course, I'm in for a trip to Barcelona. We go to Barcelona. I'm sitting in the back, and I'll never forget the first person who's I'm hearing her story. And it's this hairdresser in France, and she makes like $20,000 a year. And so it's difficult financially, but she says the worst part is that her busiest times are when her children are home from school. She's working in the afternoons and evenings. She's working on the weekends. And somebody introduced her to our products. She started taking them. She felt better. And she had a couple of health issues that really improved with our products. And then they said, you can sell these. And she started off selling them to her, hairdresser clients. And after about 3 months, she was making as much from selling the supplements as she was in her hairdressing business. And so she decided to focus full time on this. And another few months later, she had doubled her income. But she said the very best thing was that she had time to spend with her children. She still worked very hard, but she had much more flexibility in her schedule. And I mean, she got very emotional up there talking about how dramatically her life had changed. And of course, you can imagine I'm sitting there in the back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the fisherman. This is like helping people. And every single person that gets up on the stage, I get more and more inspired. And at the end of the weekend, I just lean over to John and I'm like, hey, John, I don't want to just be a passive investor. I want to come in and I want to be part of this. I've built huge companies all over the world. I've got what it takes. I want to come in and be the CEO and really help bring this company and help change people's lives. I mean, I said, with the seafood company, we helped tens of thousands of fishermen, which was amazing. But here I saw the opportunity to help millions of people all over the world. I mean, we were in 50 countries at the time. Incredible opportunity. So John said, deal, let's do it. And I said, okay, as long as you don't make me get up on the stage and talk in front of a bunch of people, like I'll do this. And he says, okay. So how many of you get nervous if you have to speak in front of a bunch of people? How many of you? Yeah, right. I, it's funny. You guys see me speaking at events and it doesn't seem like I'm nervous. I'm nervous inside. I still get nervous. But it's nervous because I want to do a really great job and I want to help people see what we're trying to do and really feel inspired to work hard and help people change their lives. So, anyway, the not speaking in front of a bunch of people, it started that next week. John's like, hey, we've got could you hop on this Zoom call? It's just a few people, and talk a little bit about your background and what we're trying to do here. And I'm like, okay, okay. It was like hundreds of people on this call. Like, John, that's not a few people. Anyway, I'm a little more used to it now, but I still get nervous. So we then started really trying to map out what it is that we wanted to create. For me at the time, I was retired. I was working in the community and in our church community and lots of service. My wife and I were walking on the beach in the mornings and going out to lunch a few days a week. It was a really nice retired life. And I knew that if I'm giving that up, I want to do something incredible, something extraordinary, something different. I'm not coming out of this beautiful retirement to just do something mediocre. I want something incredible. And one thing that had a huge impression on me as I talked to John and as I started meeting our brand partners, our future brand partners, because it took a little while to finalize the deal, is that many had left prior companies and had to go start over again. And what I saw from John is that John, 27, 26, 27 years with the same company. Each year he built on his client base and on his team, and he built and he built and he built. He never had to go like start over again from zero and have to build again. So because of that, over 20 something years, he achieved great success. And so many that I met had to go start over again. And that really was the first commitment that we had to each other and to the company, is that we were going to build a company where nobody ever had to go start over again. We were going to build a company that would last really for many generations. It was initially we were thinking 50 years, and as we got into it, we're like, no, this is a 100-year company. This has got to last many generations. We want all of our people to be able to build a business that is so successful and so valuable that they can pass that along to their children and their children's children. The next thing that we began to focus on was something, and I'd studied over the years many great companies, and one thing that is true about all of them is that they have core values that help them navigate when they have decisions to make. It helps their employees know how to act in many situations. It helps their uh, suppliers, customers, everybody they work with. When you have a core set of values that are common to the people you work with, it brings great clarity in the ability to focus on growing without having to decide who you are all the time. And our very first value, which is what led to the name of the company, is true partnership. Throughout my career, I've noticed that, or realized that in every business I've been in, even when I was at Goldman Sachs, when I treat coworkers, colleagues, suppliers, customers, when I treat everybody like a true partner, everybody together achieves greater success. And I also had heard so many stories of people who had problems with the network marketing companies that they had been with. And I'm like, we don't want that. We want to have an amazing partnership with our distributors, with the people that we work with, where we can all see great success together. And it's while I was at business school, I actually took a business law class at the law school at University of Pennsylvania. And one thing that made a great impression on me was in under the laws of the United States and most states in the United States, business partnership is a sacred relationship. You actually owe more responsibilities to a business partner than you even do to a spouse under our laws. So I have always treated my business partnerships in a very sacred way. And we wanted the same thing for our company. And it's so important to us that that's how PartnerCo was was born. That's how the name was born. And I love it that it always elicits a conversation. Can you ever say what our company is without having a conversation? No, people, PartnerCo, what's that? It always brings up a conversation. And then you get to talk about some really cool things and about what partnership is and how we work together and what our vision is and what our goals are. And so it has turned out to be just the most incredible first value and name of our company that we all align on and can work to be great partners to each other. So when we talk about vision, that really is it. It's building a long-term company, last 100 years, and being the best partner that you've ever had in your life. And that's what we will always remain focused on. When you think about building a company for 100 years, you make different decisions. Very first thing we did is we went out and hired the top best executives we could find. And for a company that of our size, we probably invested more than you would traditionally invest in such high level executives. But when you're building a 100-year company, you need that foundation. You make different decisions. It's not what are the profits every month, every quarter. It's how do we help people impact the most lives and build the foundation for a 100-year company. And that's what it is. Many of you know Katie Holt Larson. She was one of our first executives, our chief impact officer, and she's also over North America, our chief operating officer. There were problems, a lot of operational problems at the company, and I couldn't even find a chief operating officer in the network marketing space. I had to go outside of our space to find somebody who could really handle all of our complicated logistics and managing our supply chain all over the world. And we Chief Marketing Officer Mark Patterson. You guys know our branding, the branding at PartnerCo. There is none better. I tell them all the time, our marketing is as good as Nike's. I mean, absolutely. I believe that. I look at ours. I look at Nike ads. Ours are just as good, which is incredible for as I mean, we have a significant team, but nowhere near the resources that a big company like Nike has. And part of that vision is making sure that you always have the products you need, the tools you need, that you can be successful and help as many people change their lives as we can. So that's basically it, Stacey. I'm happy to answer any questions or anything else you want me to talk about.
Well, Darren, we want to respect your time because we're already 5 minutes over, but I just want to say what a mighty, humble, beautiful, generous leader we have in you at the helm. And every time I hear your story, I get choked up because it's so touching. It's so beautiful. We are so honored to have you just paving the way and the trajectory for all of us. And I know I can speak for all of us by saying it is a true gift to be here and to be partnered with you and the incredible leaders that you have in place. And so I just want to thank you for your time, your generosity. I know you have a lot of things to
No,
do,
but her daughter,
and
Michelle, and
a lot of things are going on. But thank you for being here on a Friday at 12 noon, and we just appreciate you. So thank you, Darren.
So thank you, and thank you for having me. It's so great to meet with you. We love you. We want the very best for you. We want each of you to achieve all of your dreams and much success and take care of your families and your future. And anything you need, we are here for you. So have a wonderful rest of your meeting and a wonderful day. And we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully soon.
Thank you, Darren. God bless
Thank
everybody. Take
you.
care. Bye.
You.